to Kansas, gateway to Oz. Under the rainbow, this is where it was. Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. It's the best part of Dorothy's dream.
Today on Around Kansas, we start with our wildlife segment about bobcats and their presence in the state. Next, we take a look at D-Day and a message from Dwight D. Eisenhower. Then we'll have a poem from Ron Wilson, and we'll end with a look at the Biking Across Kansas event. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Good morning. Welcome to Around Kansas. I'm Deb Goodrich, your host, and I am at the Fort Wallace Museum this morning, one of my other jobs. So it's great to have you joining us, and we've got wonderful things going on. And wow, can you believe it is June? Where does the time go? Well, I've got my calendar open in front of me right here, and I know where mine goes. Man, it's just it's pretty full. I'm blessed to have a full calendar. I'm grateful for it, but by golly, some days it's kind of hard to keep up with. This past weekend, we were in Leavenworth and Easton out at Cowboy Culbertson's and visiting our friends, the Tenants in Leavenworth. Thank God they take care of us while we're up there for the photo shoot. And a big event for us, my daughter Noelle, who was a high school dropout. She had a lot of challenges to face, and she graduated from high school, got her diploma. So folks, no matter what your obstacle is, I'm here to tell you it can be overcome. Just be like Noelle. Don't give up. Just do not give up. So proud of you, Noelle. Love you so much. Well, tomorrow, of course, is the 75th anniversary of D-Day, and a momentous commemoration around the world. My granddaughter actually, just returned from France. She was over there on a school trip. She's 15, and I'm so glad that she got to go at this time where she can see how the French people are preparing for this big event. I have a lot of friends who will actually be in France and at Normandy, and of course, Kansas supplied the main player, General Dwight D. Eisenhower. And I recall that he told his brother one time, after that June, he never looked at another weather forecast. He never cared after that. So I hope we never forget what was at stake. And I was in France, in Paris, several years ago, and was able to visit Père Lachaise, of course, the big cemetery. But in that cemetery are bronze plaques to the French resistance fighters who were murdered by the cemetery wall. And there are the memorials to some of the concentration camps, which are devastating. They are incredibly moving, and again remind us of what was at stake on this date 75 years ago today, or preparations today, and the anniversary of the landing tomorrow. So I hope that you all take advantage of the sure media coverage of the events, and make your kids and grandkids know, make sure that they know the sacrifices that were made and how important the weight of the world literally was on Ike's shoulders and the shoulders of many other people. And just thank God. That's all I know to say. Thank God that it went the way it did, that the tide turned at that point, and the end of the war was in sight.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well on their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we're glad to answer it and work with you.
This segment brought to you by the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center in Oakley.
Much more common and quite a bit smaller than mountain lions, bobcats can still strike fear in the heart of the hiker or rancher who happens upon them. Their growl, their bark, their scream, well, it can make the hair stand up on the back of your neck. Bobcats get their name from their short or bobbed tail. They have long legs, toes with retractable claws, dark spotted reddish-brown fur on top, and gray fur with black spots on their belly. They don't dig their own dens, but take advantage of what nature offers in brush piles, hollow logs, caves, and in rock outcroppings. They hunt alone from dusk to dawn and rarely use the same daytime resting area. Studies in Kansas reveal that a male bobcat may hunt over an 8-mile territory, while females hunt over a much smaller ground. Bobcats mark their territories with urine, feces, or scratching on trees. In Kansas, these territories are usually scrublands or woodlands. They mostly eat rabbits and hares, mice, birds, and other small creatures, but can take down an injured or small deer. While the kitten is vulnerable, the adults have few predators other than man, though may be killed in territorial disputes with larger animals. In the wild, the bobcat can live up to 14 years. An adult might weigh anywhere from 15 to 30 pounds. So, is the bobcat the same thing as a lynx? While bobcats and lynxes are separate species, they do belong to the same genus, which coincidentally happens to be the lynx genus. There are 4 different species belonging to this group, 3 of which share the family name: the Eurasian lynx, the Spanish or Iberian lynx, and the Canadian lynx. The 4th member, the most common cat native to North America, is the previously mentioned bobcat. The lynx genus, with its 4 species, has the largest range out of all the cats. The Eurasian lynx, the most numerous and widespread of the 4 species, can be found throughout Western Europe and Northern Asia, while the Spanish lynx, the rarest of the 4, is found only in Spain and Portugal. The Canadian lynx lives primarily in Canada and a handful of northern U.S. states, including Maine, Minnesota, Montana, Wyoming, and Washington. So when Europeans came to North America, they encountered a cat a little different than the one they had known in the old country. The native peoples had many stories about the bobcat, and different tribes imbued the creature with different spiritual meaning. Bobcat is used as a clan animal in some Native American cultures. Tribes with bobcat clans include the Creek and the Chickasaw. In the Pawnee tribe, bobcat is a more mythologically important character associated with the stars. Pawnee parents used to wrap their babies in bobcat furs to bring them celestial blessings. Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people, just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
Kim Mannering with Hardy Insurance. Today we will talk about employee safety and work comp coverage. On your farm, do you ask your friends to come help? Are they considered employees or neighbors helping neighbors? Did you know that you can be held responsible just as if it's a work comp accident? Give me a call, we can discuss. 316-945-6733.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Each year, the events of D-Day move farther away. They live in the memory of fewer and fewer veterans. Someday, in the not-too-distant future, there will be no one alive to recall that day. But we must never forget that day. The soldiers, sailors, and airmen, the families praying for their safe return, the millions devastated and dislocated in a war-torn countryside, those held in the horrors of concentration camps. The fate of the world rested on the shoulders of the man from Kansas and the men who would carry out his orders. In perusing Dwight D. Eisenhower's papers, I was struck by the committee meetings that led to Operation Overlord. Ike was the commander of the Allied forces, but that didn't mean he was not part of a command structure that was complex, filled with different backgrounds and perspectives, a virtual minefield of international repercussions with the personalities and national interest involved. Ike's strength lay in his ability to bring about consensus, and yet there were times when his patience was tried and he threatened to walk away. I don't believe he would have. He was too aware of his critical role and too devoted to duty. But in recalling this day that changed the course of history, we should also recall that it was not a smooth path, not an easy decision, and that Ike's plan was met with great criticism. In the end, it was Ike's decision, as his comrade General Omar Bradley remarked, solely Ike's decision. Let us listen together to the words of that son of Kansas. Let us listen with gratitude and humility as we remember the men who sacrificed all so many years ago and those who sacrifice daily. God bless them.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened. He will fight savagely. But this is the year 1944. Much has happened since the Nazi triumphs of 1940-41. The United Nations have inflicted upon the Germans great defeats in open battle, man to man. Our air offensive has seriously reduced their strength in the air and their capacity to wage war on the ground. Our home fronts have given us an overwhelming superiority in weapons and munitions of war, and placed at our disposal great reserves of trained fighting men. The tide has turned. The free men of the world are marching together to victory. I have full confidence in your courage, devotion to duty, and skill in battle. We will accept nothing less than full victory. Good luck, and let us all beseech the blessing of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking.
Join us at the Butterfield Trail Museum and the Fort Wallace Museum for the Trails to Rails celebration July 12th, 13th, and 14th, as once again Butterfield's Overland Dispatch runs stages on the Smoky Hill Trail from Russell Springs to Pond Creek Station at Wallace. Reliving history is a lot more fun than the folks had making it.
My name's Karen Cope, and I have multiple sclerosis. When you have MS, on the outside you look great, but you know what's really going on in the inside is chronic body pain, chronic fatigue. And there's lots of days that I'd wake up and say, oh, please God, help me get through this day. You know, after stem cells, Chloe, my youngest daughter, she was asked by my father-in-law, how's your mom doing? And Chloe said, Grandpa, I've never had a mom like this before. Because she was 8 when I was diagnosed, and she really had no other memory of me but being sick. It's really the simple things that we do as a family, like play cards, and to be able to win at cards. You know, they all laugh because I used to repeat myself and say, what hand are we on? You know, where are we at? And it's just been really a true blessing from God, and we're really thankful.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Perhaps we've seen horses with problems through the years, but I've come to find from my experience that oftentimes the problem isn't the horse, it's the rider. This poem is entitled The Problem Horse, or The Horse's Problem. Here's part 1. What's wrong with this horse? The young rider asked as he struggled with jobs for which he was tasked. She balks at the trailer, won't stand at the gates, and she doesn't move right when I want to change gates. She's skittish as heck and she spooks at my rope. I'm beginning to think this darn mare is a dope. I'm trying to get the work done that I need, but I can't make her start upon the right lead. Disgust and frustration fooled the cowboy's discourse as he asked the question, what's wrong with this horse? Here's part 2. What's wrong with this rider, the mare must have thought, as he went through the struggles the morning had brought. Does he want me to gallop or just go at a lope? Does he know that he whacked me upside with his rope? Do we stop at the gate or go on down the fence? What the heck does he want? His cues make no sense. Is he squeezing his knees because he wants to go fast? Or is his intent different than it was in the past? The mixed signals she got caused frustration inside her, and the mare had to wonder, what's wrong with this rider? Happy trails.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
This is one of my favorite bits that I make. The name I give this bit is a derby bit. I had a roan head horse that was running through the bridle with the chain bit, and I made this bit here. It really worked good on that horse. I sent this bit to Donnie McNeese, who breaks in cattle for Jeff Smith and Ike Cox. And I said, ride this bit on a lot of horses, see how you get along with it. They did. He said, Bull, that's really a good bit. Fits a lot of horses. Then I give this bit to my good friend, Brent Wright, who I make bits for. And I said, see how this bit will work on a reining horse. I call him up a couple months later. I said, Brent, how you getting along with that bit? And he said, good. He said, you don't need it right this minute, do you? And I said, no. He said, good, because I'm down here in Texas and I just won a big futurity riding that bit. And when Brent got home, he gave me the buckle that he won the futurity with. I'm really proud of that buckle that Brent Wright gave it to me, and also that he got along so good with my bit.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Well, you know how folks say, yeah, I used to could, or maybe it's just people in the South that say that. I don't think I ever used to could have been able to bike across Kansas. I used to do some fair biking. I think 35 miles in one day was the most I ever did. But lately, I've slacked off of that. I got to get back into it because it's great exercise. But Bike Across Kansas is a wonderful event. We're so pleased that we're going to have a role in entertaining some of those folks that are biking across Kansas at Hill City on Sunday night. So let's take a look at how they got started and exactly what Biking Across Kansas is all about.
Biking Across Kansas, BAK, is an annual 8-day bicycle tour across the state of Kansas. BAK promotes health and wellness through cycling, the history and beauty of Kansas, and the warm hospitality of Kansas towns and people. The very first Biking Across Kansas was launched in June of 1975, inspired by the bike boom of the early 70s. Larry and Norma Christie of Wichita decided that a bike ride across their home state would be fun. It would also serve as a pre-test for the Kansas section of the official Bike Centennial 76 cross-country route. Bike Centennial, now called Adventure Cycling Association, sanctioned a bike route across America as part of the nation's bicentennial celebration. Less than 100 riders participated in 1975, but the numbers grew quickly, with several hundred within the first 5 years. Many others shared the Christies' enthusiasm, and over 40 years later, BAK has grown beyond all original expectations. BAK now limits participation to over 800 participants on each year's event. From 1975 to 1981, there was a single annual route. In 1982, it was expanded to 2 routes, and then 3 in 1989. In 2004, BAK returned to a single route format. The routes change from year to year, and nearly every corner of the state has been visited by Biking Across Kansas cyclists. BAK has exposed people from all over the country to the beauty of rural Kansas and has done much to increase state tourism. In 1994, the Christies received the Governor's Tourism Award presented by the Kansas Association of Broadcasters for their organization and promotion of Biking Across Kansas. The Christies retired as executive directors in 2001, passing the reins to Charlie Summers of Newton. Under Summers' leadership from 2002 to 2012, BAK continued to thrive by visiting many new overnight cities and expanding the responsibilities of its volunteer committee. Summers retired as executive director in 2012, transferring leadership to a group of experienced BAK committee members. They formed a new nonprofit organization, Biking Across Kansas, Inc., governed by a board of 11 directors. Stephanie Weaver of Olathe currently serves as executive director. The BAK goals now, as they were in 1975, are to provide a safe, fun, and memorable adventure for everyone who undertakes the challenge of biking across the beautiful state of Kansas. Biking Across Kansas is exploring the northern tier of the state this year, with stops in Goodland, Colby, Hill City, Hayes, Wilson, Minneapolis, Clay Center, Holton, and Atchison. A reminder to the public, roads are not closed for the bikers, so visit the website for the route and be mindful of the growing number of cyclists on the roads this time of year.
Wonderful sharing Wednesday mornings with you. Thanks. We'll see you again next week. We'll see you somewhere around Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. We're the best part of Dorothy's dream.